early October of the year 1973, an oil embargo act was proclaimed by the members of the Organization of Arab Petroleum Exporting Countries. This oil embargo act was especially targeted at countries perceived to be supporting Israel during the Yom Kippur War. Initially, this act was targeted at Canada, Japan, United States, United Kingdom, and Netherlands, but was to later include Portugal and South Africa. Interestingly, the Oil Embargo Act was only in effect from October of 1973 to March of 1974. However, this greatly affected each of the targeted countries due to the price of oil going from $3 per barrel in October of 1973 to $12 per barrel by March of 1974. This economic catastrophe came to be known as the oil shock and sent the economy on a global status in a downward spiral. Having oil this expensive meant less fuel for transportation and higher fuel prices. From the roadsters of the 1930s and 40s to the timeless muscle cars of the 60s and early 70s, America had spared no expense for the bygone era of fuel-guzzling monsters. America seemed to be building cars that got longer and wider every year. One problem with this was the demand for more and more fuel by the year. Although this could end up a large issue in the long run, America, environmentally wise, was saved by the Oil Embargo Act. On the contrary, America was in chaos at the time. There were high gas prices and little or no fuel in gas stations all across the U.S. American automakers were in a scramble to design more fuel-efficient vehicles. The Honda Civic and other compacts from Toyota, Mazda, and Datsun were not necessarily designed with fuel economy in mind. The fuel economy came more or less as a byproduct of the size of the vehicle. The reason Japanese automakers designed such small vehicles was due to Japan's congested traffic. Soichiro Honda developed the Honda Civic in 1972, not even knowing that there would be a fuel crisis in 1973. In Japan, Soichiro Honda pioneered front-wheel drive compact vehicles. Toyota, Mazda, and Datsun followed up with compact vehicles that were commonly rear-wheel drive. The Honda Civic arrived on American soil for the first time in July of 1972. The sales were laughably low. No one in America wanted a small, fuel-efficient vehicle. It was not needed at the time. However, in October of 1973, Americans had nowhere else to turn. They skeptically bought the new imports, tens of thousands of them. By 1979, much to the dismay of American automakers, import sales were on par with domestic sales. In the early 1980s, American automakers such as Ford and AMC tried to compete with their new compact vehicles. The Honda Civic barely outsold all of the new American compacts like the Ford Pinto, AMC Pacer, and AMC Grandland. Imports were favored over domestics for their superior reliability. The auto industry was changed not only by the 1973 oil crisis, but by the advanced design vehicles that Honda and other manufacturers produced to fit the needs of the U.S. during that time. One could argue that Honda did not change the landscape of the auto industry, but it is safe to say that Honda changed it for the better from an environmental standpoint. Also, domestic compacts like the AMC Pacer and AMC Gremlin were extremely short-lived due to their unreliability. On the contrary, Honda produced reliable vehicles that people grew to like. Honda influenced other manufacturers to build cars with two of many things in mind: quality and fuel efficiency. Thank you.